We go. We're live apparently. So let's see. Have we got audio? Mrs. W isn't in place at the moment. She's in the kitchen. Yep, we've got audio. Well, good evening and good evening, good evening. As I said, for the four of you that are in here, I don't know how long we'll keep going tonight. I am in a lot of pain. I've got a headache and a bad back. I have dosed up on some painkillers, so we'll see how it goes. Good evening, Marines. Oh, YouTube's not very good tonight. That's telling me there's one watching or one waiting. This one's telling me there's 3 watching. And that's including me and Mrs. W, obviously. But, we needed a new telly for a while now. So we bit the bullet last week and went out and bought one. Didn't have any problem putting that one up, but got issues with it, which I'll explain. But it was carrying the old 50-inch up the stairs to replacing the old knackered one, totally knackered one, not a modern design that was up there. And I managed to pull me back somehow. So I'm suffering with that to the point where I've got my cushion behind me. But there's got to be more than 4 watching, surely. Bloody hell, what's going on tonight?
No, but I'm in now.
Yep, Mrs. W's back. You watch them all pile in now. Yeah, there we go. Look.
Sorry, I'm late.
But yeah, we bought a new modern telly. And you know what I'm like with tech. Couldn't get the bloody thing to work properly. Couldn't watch nothing. Of course, they're all internet-based things now, aren't they? And this one isn't Freeview. It's Freely, which is going to be the one that takes over from Freeview. They also, the same company owns Freeview and UKSat or UCAT or USAT, whatever it is. But the menus are all different. Even the channel listings are all different. So you can't look in a magazine. You can't look on any other telly to see what the channel listings are because they're all under bloody different numbers. But good evening, Moo.
Evening,
Moo. As usual, my techie expert there behind me. Basically, I gave up because I couldn't watch anything, and I gave her the remote. And she's found loads of channels that we never had before, all on Freely. You got a lot of the old Discovery ones like Mythbusters. They got their own channel. A couple of motorsport channels, which is great for me. But yeah, it's very confusing, this coming up to date with tech. But, you know, a bit of tech. Maybe the... Good evening, Adrian. Welcome, mate. Maybe the Met could have used an extra bit of tech. I mean, after this nasty immigrant that attacked a woman and a young girl got, I can't say escaped because he was waiting to be deported and he found himself being set free. But what ensued seemed to be a panic from the police. We've got to find this guy. Basically putting out countrywide alerts and what have you for this bloke. You know, yes, his release was apparently a mistake. And the police said, we'll use all our resources to find him. Well, you didn't do very well in 2 days, did you? how much money was spent on it. But once they did recapture him, was it their intelligence? Was it one of their officers? Nope. It was a member of the public who recognised him on one of the platforms, social media platforms, that they're trying to censor. They don't want us to put videos up of this sort of stuff. So basically, social media showed them up on this one, as far as I'm concerned. The very entity that you're trying to censor done your job for you. But there we go. Very embarrassing. But straight away, the Home Office ordered an inquiry, saying it looks like this was an administrative error. Well, they get plenty of them, but they don't look into them, do they? But, why? It got let out by mistake. You found out how and why, and you plugged that gap. No need for another inquiry. It was an administrative error. And you know how much I've practiced saying that fucking word. But it seems more now are coming out of prisons. I mean, apparently, allegedly, I should say, there was at least 7, was it 5 or 7 that were released early by mistake last week. And apparently it's in the hundreds that it's happened to throughout the year. But I did, if anybody else comments in there, babe, keep an eye on it, because I don't know whether it's working. It's still stuck on one waiting. Hang on, let me refresh that before I carry on. There's something.
Does that come up?
Hang on. There's something that didn't look quite right there. Yeah, that's come up. Oh, yeah, it's all changed now. Now I've refreshed it. Yeah, now I particularly watched one interview. I believe he was an ex-prison guard or governor or something. And he was talking about how very, very few of the guards can even speak English. Yeah, as many of them come over on work visas, this, experience. They've come from foreign prisons, whatever. But they can't speak or understand English. During this interview, he said that in some cases, the guards will use little cards. I don't know what they've got on them, whether they're coloured, got pictures, words or whatever. And this is how they communicate with the prisoners to get them to do what they want to do. Like one card for get back in your cell, one card for whatever. And it was quite funny. This is why it caught me. But when the interviewer turned round and said, well, that could actually work quite well, considering most of the inmates in the British prisons now can't speak fucking English. So it's not just the guards. But, that was just one that I come across on that. But why the panic? This guy, as far as I'm concerned, was no more dangerous than any of the other ones they're letting out under the early release scheme. Yeah. It's as if they want dangerous criminals on the streets. I mean, you look at the way the police acted in London the weekend. They actually banned the Patriots March, although one did go ahead. They wouldn't let them anywhere near where they wanted them to go, which in fairness is a predominantly Muslim area, I believe. But there was police all over them, surrounding them, There was some lefties attacked them. But in the hamlets, Tower Hamlets, where they wanted to start the march, there was black uniformed, masked up. I can't say what race they were because they were masked up, but it's obvious who they were. They were tooled up with weapons, a lot of them. Nothing from the police. They took over the streets. They were knelt down blocking streets to pray, only a handful of 100 yards from one of the biggest mosques in the country, just to prove their dominance. And they looked like all fighting age young men. You know, the police have let this country down. They really, really have. And they are contributing to this destruction that we're seeing. Good evening, Stitch, Lil Stitch, and Resist if you're in the background there. Hey, Muhammad. But yeah, you know, it's we see this virtually every day now, where you get these street takeovers by them, and they're doing it all with impunity from the police. You know, so I'm just looking at what stuff I've got written down here to go through. My head's still not clear. But what did you think of Sarah Putin then? And her little speech. Is she a racist? If anybody's got any opinion on that, or has anybody not seen it? Oh wait, there is a bit of a delay, just in case anybody wants to comment.
I'll just give my opinion.
Go on then.
While you're waiting to see if anybody else comes up with anything.
No, I haven't seen it.
Basically, what she said was adverts were disproportional.
Yeah, I was going to go through that.
Sorry.
I've got it all written down there. Hi, Steve. Right. Now, as Mrs. W started to say there, it was over mainstream media and TV. And she said that, she did say there's too many blacks and Asians on TV at one point, which she shouldn't have done. I totally agree with that, what Farage said about it. But I know what she wanted to say, and I've said it in the past myself. But she just picked the wrong words to say it, and straight away she's been branded a racist. But when you look at the numbers, yes, minorities are overrepresented in adverts and the like. Good evening, Loafer. I mean, we've got a 4% black population, yet they appear in 51% of the ads. South Asian is an 8% of the population. They appear in 17% of the ads. East Asian, they're only 1% of the population, yet they appear in 11% of ads. So yes, minorities are overrepresented in advertising. They can't dispute it. The figures are there. You know. But it's so I'm with her. I wouldn't have said it like she said it. I mean, as we know, we have to pick our words very carefully on social media now, shall I say. You know, it's the Facebook police will knock at your door for any shit now. Oh, I feel offended. Oh, look, he wiped his nose. Oh, I don't like that. Go and arrest him. But it's literally down to the governments and the woke. They are literally trying to change the way we communicate, the way we talk. And Labour seem to be backing them at every step. It's very strange. But, yeah, it's something to think about. Oh, itchy arse. Sorry. If I keep shuffling around and you hear the odd grunt, it's me moving about. It is quite painful. I feel like chicken tonight. But do you look like one, Loafer? Oh, pardon me. I mean, we've got the, being as nobody's saying anything in the chat, we got the migrant hotels coming to the fore again in the news. This time, they are still whinging about the protests, but this time it's what they cost, and it's been exposed just how much. Now, it's more to do with the companies and how much money they're making on these places. It's all over YouTube as well, Moo. Farage talked about it in his speech yesterday as well, with one of the survivors of the grooming gangs, who did a bloody good job of taking the piss out of the mainstream media and telling them exactly where they stood. But we know these companies, some are running on existing contracts from the Tories, because in the beginning they were giving out 7-year contracts. There's been 5-year contracts given out since Labour have been in. And these are all paid to companies to source the hotels and, staff them, get them up and running, get the immigrants in there, put on security and staff. And they're making millions out of it. Absolute millions. And believe it or not, most of the hotels that are on their books and most of the companies themselves, funny enough, are not owned by English, shall I say. But Starmer's come up with this idea now of putting them into military camps, into barracks. How much is that going to cost? I mean, a lot of these contracts, and I've heard that some of them run to way past this government's term time. They go on past 2030. Don't forget, they've tried this before. Royal Mail is owned by Czech billionaire. Yeah. Yeah, that was sold off, wasn't it, Loafer? But yeah, it's putting them in camps. Now, last time they tried it, it cost them millions upon millions to bring these camps up to a standard that these immigrants could live in. And consequently, there were riots, lots of trouble. One of the camps even being set light because they weren't happy with the conditions. And now there's more of them here. He wants to chuck them back into camps. Yeah, exactly, Moo. Now, if it was good enough for our boys, it should be good enough for them. If they are running away from a war, it's still far better than that hole in the ground they were living in or surviving in. But, yeah, just a thought on that. Are these camps going to be guarded? Good evening, Brian. You know, are they going to are they going to be locked in these camps? Because officially they are criminals after all. You know, they don't get decriminalized until they get given the go ahead from the Home Office to say you're a citizen or you've got the right to stay. Or are they just going to be let out in the public in the local area to continue on the regime of harassing women and young girls? Yeah, it is, Brian. It is, mate. I haven't looked at too many reports, only the headlines on that. But yeah, are they going to, you know, all they're doing is moving the problem to somebody else's neighbourhood. Putting it on somebody else's doorstep. And it's going to cost a lot more than what they're paying out now. Because don't forget, a lot of these contracts will have to continue to run until they end. Either that or they'll probably pay a high penalty clause to get out of them. Or are these camps just for the ones that are still coming? You know, I mean, no one can see the government could stop this in a week if they wanted to. Yeah, exactly, Moo. Exactly, mate. You know, I mean, doing this now couldn't be a better time for Comrade Starmer. You know, we've got our best ever border control coming up, the season of border control, which drastically cuts the number coming across with storms and bad weather. Yeah. Mother Nature, sad, isn't it, when you rely on it to defend your borders? But it'll stop them coming, and for a while they'll be, look at what we're doing. We stopped the boats. They haven't come over this month. We've only had a couple. Claiming the work of Mother Nature as usual. But this lull will give them a chance to move the ones from the hotel into the camps. And they'll have that done just in time for when the weather breaks next year. So the new influx can go straight in the hotels, get used to a little bit of luxury, their hot meals every day before they get shipped off into camps. So nothing's going to change. The bullshit of the one in, one out will continue. And it's all working exactly how they wanted it to. But I think people are waking up. I mean, there's several, I won't mention any names, but there are several videos out there today that are literally saying, and I've said it myself, we've only got one step left, and that is an uprising. Because they're not listening to anything people say. They're just continuing on the path of destruction. And it's going to get worse from next month. As soon as Reeves gives that budget, this country will be well and truly fucked. I mean, today she said unemployment is down. You know, at the same time Amazon announced they're going to make tens of thousands of people redundant because they don't need them because AI is doing their job for them. I mean, this is something that I warned about a long, long time ago, and so did a lot of other people, that once this AI and the technology starts coming in, that's it. Your jobs are gone. Everything. I don't think people are being forced due to taxation infringement. Yeah, well, once this new budget, I mean, there's some horrific taxes that are being chucked around and bandied around out there. A lot of them I don't believe. because they're on these silly AI channels that are taking somebody's work away. Oh, she's going to tax this, she's going to tax that. She is going to come down heavy. Yeah, to be honest, Brian, I mean, some of the videos that are done with AI and that, I mean, you got all the Bigfoot comedy ones and stuff like. I don't even look at them anymore. I'm sick to death of seeing them. Yeah, it's all very clever and that, but what happened to making proper videos, real videos, as I call them, instead of just having a computer make them for you? I mean, the memes that I post on Facebook, I mean, I actually take the time to manipulate the pictures, transfer pictures, put stickers on. I don't ask a computer to do it all for me. I do it all manual input. But I've always said AI is going to be very, very dangerous. I mean, I can go back to, let's see when, early 80s. I was working at British Leyland and they were starting to use the robots on the production line. Simple jobs like fitting windscreens and stuff like that. But I saw how many people that put out of work. One robot took the job of 3 men. That's particularly fitting windscreens. And that's when it started. And Amazon now, they are, I can't remember, somebody said 14,000, I think it was, laid off, whether that was into this country or not. But they're looking about hundreds of thousands worldwide. I mean, their operation is fucking huge. So that's adding to the list. You got the oil and gas that's been shut down. There's how many thousand did they say were going to be laid off there? These are the people that used to bring us our energy security, our own power supplies. They're being shut down. It's good just come off the Parliament channel and watching it. Yeah, they're trying to save every penny they can, Brian. I mean, apparently they themselves created, what was it, a 40+ billion pound black hole on top of the alleged Tory black hole. And now people are saying, the experts are saying they've created an extra 20 billion pound black hole on top of that. So that brings it up to about 70 billion.
Fireworks are expensive tonight.
And do-dally's still going on. Do-dally, that's what I call it, do-dally. Surely it only lasts a couple of days, doesn't it?
I don't know, we've had fireworks every night.
I suppose it could be a birthday or something, but yeah, well, exactly, Brian, when the gas changed. And I mean, she's already driven out the major investors that actually lived in this country, had big businesses here, employed hundreds and thousands of people. She's driven them out of the country. She's gone down to the next level. And a lot of the millionaires are leaving, packing up bags, giving her the middle finger and saying, fuck you. And she's gradually working her way down. And they will all leave, which will totally screw the economy. And the only people that will be left here will be those of us that can't afford to pack up bags and move to another country. I mean, we would never be accepted with our medical issues. Never. We wouldn't be able to afford it. But they're the ones that will be left. People like us. I mean, nobody is. He keeps coming up with these investments and these contracts. Until we see the colour of the money, no. And they're paltry little contracts. A few jets to Turkey, for fuck's sake. But again, with the technology now, he come out with this bullshit the other day on the digital ID. You know, saying, oh yeah, would you rather have the digital ID? Yeah, Brian. Yeah, you pay the company £85 to get ID'd. You know, you haven't got the digital handcuffs, as it were. But this was only hinted at. Now, I believe this was nothing but a scaremongering tactic. Plain and simple, because I don't know any business that would want to lose customers by saying, oh yeah, you can buy that, but we need to identify who you are, and then charge you 85 quid if you haven't got the digital ID. It ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Businesses would lose too much. And that would just be another way of driving them out of the country. You know, and now I'm convinced that this is how thick Starmer is. He's a lawyer. He ran the Justice Department in the government. But he can't see the legal implications of the digital ID. Exactly me. Now, yes, he said it won't be mandatory. Well, using the word mandatory, it never can be unless you agree to it. But voluntary. So, under the Discrimination Act and Equalities Act of 2010, there would be thousands and thousands of legal cases, open and shut, because if you're discriminated against because you haven't got a digital ID, it is absolutely discrimination. So when he comes out with shit like this, he's just talking out of his arse, as usual. But, you know, is this all to draw attention from what else is going on? You know? The turmoil in the Labour Party itself. You know, there's some backbiting behind the scenes, I would say, definitely. I mean, they went against him by voting Lucy Powell in as Deputy PM, when only a few weeks ago, was it 8 weeks, 7-8 weeks, he sacked her from the cabinet. But now he's had to grin and bear, welcoming him back as his right-hand man, as it were. It don't make sense. It just literally don't make sense. You know, the fireworks going to start early this year. But I think she will bide her time. A lot of them could well be blackmailed or threatened with their jobs anyway, Brian, for sure. But will she challenge for the leadership? I personally think that's why the others voted her in. But I think they will wait until Rachel from Accounts absolutely mullers the country financially after the budget, And I think that's when they'll make their move. I think that's when he will be ousted and they will try and get her in. I mean, they won't have Reeves. Rayna's still loitering in the background, don't forget. She's very popular with a lot of them. But I think Lucy Powell will be the one that they launch their little campaign with. Yeah, it's going to get very interesting. And don't forget, she's the one that accused the rape gang victims as blowing a dog whistle when they're moaning and being victims. Well, it looks like, along with that, the grooming gangs, it looks like Mark Rowley has shit all over Khan, as I've said. Dropped him in the shit by admitting that there is a problem with it in London, where Khan has constantly denied it. Doesn't even know what a grooming gang is, according to him. Doesn't exist in London. Well, if it doesn't exist in London, Khan, how come Rowley is allegedly open 9,000 cases to re-look at? That's 9,000 cases. Probably nowhere near the absolute number, but that's 9,000 people that have probably been abused that you've denied it ever happened, Khan. Yes. I think that Rowley has caused your downfall. Don't get me wrong, I think Rowley should go as well. You know? And then we had the ex-Met guy come out, made a statement the other day in an interview saying that he was basically drummed out the force if he was going to cover all this up. He was told if he exposed it, he would be in danger, his family would be in danger, and that was 20 years ago. So it's ingrained, not just in the Met. I believe it's ingrained. This protection that they've been giving them is ingrained throughout the police force, countrywide, to be honest. Different degrees, different levels in different areas, but it is a countrywide thing. And the sad thing is, while they're talking about it, we know it's still happening. So, yeah, 9,000 cases apparently he's going to reopen. Yeah, I love it when they turn on each other. Yeah, it's just gaslighting, smoke and mirrors, Brian. They do it all the time. But people like ourselves that watch, the live parliament, so you got the up-to-date thing and you can hear exactly what they've said. It becomes quite obvious when you look at the real world to what they're talking about. But this will put a hell of a lot more pressure now on Labour over the constant blocking and hold-ups over the grooming gangs inquiry. And, the way they're doing it now, to be honest, they're not even trying to hide it, are they? Why try and hide? We know he's lying. He knows he's lying. He knows that we know he's lying. But he just carries on. I mean, no, I can't verify this. It was another YouTuber that found the story, apparently. Planter, the company that pulled out of supplying or working on the software and the ins and outs of this digital ID. stating that there was no public support for it, which there isn't. I don't know of anybody that supports it in my circles, but now they've allegedly, I will say at this point, allegedly in talks with police chiefs over coming up with a countrywide surveillance system. This will obviously be probably AI and web based, but would include facial recognition cameras, the speed cameras, the road cameras. Believe it or not, it's even been said that they could take over your Ring doorbells if they wanted. But they're allegedly in talks with the police over this. You know, obviously, I can't confirm any of this, but it comes from a pretty reputable source who isn't usually far off the truth, and he's a very knowledgeable person. But this is the thing, Brian. You know, you look at the way crime's changed, well, except for the physical ones that we know of, which Khan still denies after multiple stabbings again in London. You can't get away from the technology. Thieves are always going to be able to break into. I mean, there's outages tonight. I've been getting reports of Marks and Spencer's is down. The Amazon cloud is down. You know, is that Amazon again still having issues? But there's others it's going to affect as well. And as I say, everything being digital, that's all you need, and the country grinds to a halt. You can't buy anything. You can't go anywhere. It's a very fragile system. It's very new. Exactly, Moo. And this is the thing. And the jab wasn't mandatory, was it? You had the choice of take it or not. But you were forced to take it if you wanted a foreign holiday. And that's exactly what he'll try and do with this digital ID. It's not mandatory, it's voluntary, but you will get penalised in other ways if you don't use it.
We need Nigel in, he's not having it.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday Farage's speech and that. Now, I mean, the girl that was with him, the one that's been speaking up, because it was about leaving the panel of the grooming gangs, which she agreed that everybody said it's corrupt. You know, they're being led, they're being false-fed information, they're being told what to say and what not to say. Well, that's not how an open inquiry works. And several of the mainstream media jumped on her case. And she openly said to him, isn't it funny you can pick up these big stories within 5 minutes nowadays and put them on the big screen? But something that's been going on for 40 years you've totally ignored, even though you know it's been happening. Brilliant. I think that young lady should stand up and become a spokeswoman for them all. Not us cows. Yeah.
No.
I was a sheep, but I caught mad cow's disease, you know.
I think we were all sheep to a certain extent when it first hit, because we didn't know.
Well, this was what I've said. Now, they've always blamed the Tories for this £2 billion black hole, £22 billion black hole, or whatever it was, in the finances. Now, a lot of that was knee-jerk reaction to the pandemic.
Yeah.
In particularly following the science that wasn't really science. It was just a load of bullshit. And they had to borrow a lot of money to do what they thought was right. End result was they did it all totally wrong, and they didn't need to spend half the fucking money if they'd have just listened to people instead of following the science, which has been proved wrong since. And the COVID inquiry is still going on. It's still on the internet most days if people want to look in on it. And they are ripping them apart in it. I mean, one even accused Hancock, I think it was last week, openly of facilitating murder. But that's where I believe the main of that black hole came from their wrongful decisions. You know, we know the economy suffered through the pandemic, but it wasn't particularly what they were doing with the economy that created that black hole. That was down to the pandemic. And it wasn't just in this country. Other countries had the same problem. So they can't put it down to that and start blaming about it. But, you know, they've created a lot bigger black hole in a year and a half. Pardon me.
Maybe
Yeah. Sorry, what was you going to say?
Maybe they can borrow some money to get themselves out of the shit.
Well, that's what Lammy said, wasn't it? We'll borrow enough money to get ourselves out of debt. I mean, that just shows the absolute mentality of this government.
Well, they nick everybody else's ideas. They may as well pinch Lammy's.
Yeah, I mean, people, as Brian said there in the chat, people are waking up. Not due to what a lot of people have been saying. It's due to the fact that they are noticing now what we've been saying for themselves. And they're starting to stand up and question it. As Brian said, the bills keep going up. The interest rates keep fluctuating. The economy's stagnant, but everything goes up, especially power. You know, they're virtually cutting off our chance to be more self-sufficient. Because it's got to be with fossil fuels. This net zero shit ain't going to work. That's being proved time and time and time again. It won't work. But Miliband still keeps plugging on with it, taking millions and millions out of the public coffers. We're still seeing the bills go up. I mean, you know, we're already paying the highest in the world for electricity. Yes, Brian, it does. It does. And I don't think that'll come before an uprising. I think the people will be on the streets, and I mean everybody, before they let it finance. Although, yeah, realistically, Rachel could crash it next month, couldn't she? Absolutely, she could. But it's the fact that every financial institution in the country is telling her she's wrong. You know? And she just doesn't take any notice.
Why would she? She's got years of experience.
Oh, yes. She's got years of experience of sorting out complaints. Yet she can't see the ones that are being made about her. But, there was... yeah, I might put it up in a bit, Steve. I don't know how long I'm going to keep going tonight, but as I say, I'm in quite a bit of pain here. The stabbing in London of the dog walker, you know, they were senseless murders. But they put out a report now. One of them is saying that he suffered a psychotic episode. So it looks like they're going to try and bury this one under mental health issues. Yeah, it's all right still. I've had a blinding headache for most of the day and I've pulled me back. So every time I move, I'm in quite a bit of pain. But yeah, this is the London that Khan says is absolutely safe for people to come and visit. What an absolute prick. That bastard should be locked up. It's blatantly obvious now that he's been covering up the grooming gangs along with other things. Apparently there's about £47 million missing as well from the accounts. Again, I can't verify that. That's just something I heard. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the ULEZ is basically failing simply because they keep getting the cameras ripped down. And Oxford launched their own version today, I think it was. There was a last-minute appeal went in, but I haven't heard the result. But, I mean, Oxford is not far from where I originally come from, so I've still got contacts way back there. And a lot of professional people are saying that they're not going to put up with it. They're not having it. Nurses have said they'd be leaving the jobs they're doing at the local hospital, in particular the John Radcliffe, because it means they'll have to pay to get to work. Doctors are the same. There's a few other professions. School teachers was one. I heard of at least two schools that said if they do implement it, they're going to lose about 50% of their staff because they all come in from outside of Oxford and they're not paying to park to come into the city to teach. So that's going to fuck Oxford up. I mean, we've got is it a clean air zone in Birmingham, they call it?
Yeah.
Not quite a ULEZ, is it? It's a clean air zone thing.
Yeah, but most cars can go in the city if they're petrol.
Yeah. It's not as bad as a total ULEZ one where they're butchering everything. But, well, we don't drive into the city anyway.
But if I did, I wouldn't have to pay.
And I hate driving in the city. I absolutely hate it.
Don't think you've ever driven in the city, have you?
I have. I've driven in London once.
I went in Birmingham.
Not in Birmingham. Oh, I have, yeah. When I went to do that job for Richard way out the other side.
Oh, yes.
When I said, well, I might get a few signs because apparently there's a bus lane, but I didn't see any.
Yeah, going straight across Birmingham, it's more complicated than it sounds.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Because you get to a point where to go straight across, you've either go left and then right, or right and then left, or straight on.
Yeah, exactly, Moo. If a car passes its MOT, it shouldn't be restricted to where it can go. I mean, they're fucking around with the taxes on cars now, especially EVs are going to get absolutely mullered on this budget, and there's still talk about the pay per mile. At your MOT, you'll get a bill for what miles you've done for that year. Yeah, exactly, Brian. I mean, I sit here thinking some of the things they do. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. But it's not just me it affects. I always think that, there's many others like me that are feeling the same. Unfortunately, many others don't start YouTube channels and start airing their views on it. I wish they would. I wish they'd overwhelm the fucking system with it so they can exactly see how the people are feeling. I'm absolutely convinced, yes, there was a lot of a big rise, shall I say, in mental health issues over the pandemic. Yes, there was. But what's doing now, the stress and what have you people are under, is causing even more mental health issues. And in some cases, you could even say it's making people physically ill on top of that. You know? I mean, I've seen 2 reports in one day of people that are just sitting waiting to die because they can't get the cancer treatment they want. Doctors are refusing to see them. It took one woman 15 appointments to be diagnosed. And once they diagnosed it, they refused her the treatment. How does that work? And it's not down to the boys and the girls on the front line in the NHS. It's all down to management. Yeah, it is, Brian. It's, I mean, as I've always said, and I'll be totally honest, with my issues, which are all medical, by the way, although, as I say many times, Heather included, would probably say there is a bit of mental health issue involved there somewhere.
Well, hell yeah.
But my mum checked me at a young age and I was fine.
Don't do a Sheldon Cooper. You have not been tested. You are not Sheldon Cooper.
But, yeah, I've been treated excellently, I will say. I had one hiccup where I had a bust up at the Queen Elizabeth with one of the staff who was trying to insist that I have a COVID test. Yes, I was in there over COVID, or just after COVID, because that's when I had my strokes, and that's why I was there. But I'd informed them that I hadn't been jabbed and that I would not be tested. And she even came towards me with the swab out of the packet at one point, and I was, nah. Yeah, dentists are a different matter, Brian. But I've always had appointments when I've needed them. I've got several doctors and consultants that are actually fought in my corner, where another department wasn't doing what they were supposed to do and getting things wrong. I had a couple of really good consultants that looked into it for me and got things moving. 6 years. Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, I had to go and get a new set of dentures made. And this was during the pandemic. I wasn't registered with a dentist, but I knew some of my bottom teeth were gone and I knew I needed a new top plate. Mine had snapped because all my top ones are false. Because Heather was working at the time, I couldn't get full national health, although I wasn't working. So I got a bit. But basically, they rushed me for over 300 quid for a set of chops that I didn't need, that I couldn't use, couldn't eat, couldn't talk. They're just fucking massive. And rather than taking out all the bad ones on the bottom and having a bottom one made, he decided he was going to save a load of them. So I had about 6 or 7 out and the rest were fucking drilled and shit. And I went back and said, well, look, you know, this plate's no good. I can't eat with it. I couldn't talk with it. I've modified it now, but and they couldn't be asked. So I said, right, you know, take me off your register. Go fuck yourselves. They said, you ripped me off. No.
What was it they charged you for a checkup for 8 teeth or 6 teeth, whatever the number is?
Yeah, they wanted to charge me over 20 quid, even though I was an NHS patient, just for a checkup. I said, well, there's only 7 fucking teeth left in there. How long's it going to take you to look at 7 fucking teeth? You know what I mean? Yeah, Heather goes private, Brian. If I get any issues, I probably will next time.
No, I don't go private, but I am thinking about it.
I mean, back home years ago, I had a brilliant dentist. I started getting my teeth knocked out at a very young age, as you can imagine. I did have some metal roots in some of them and false teeth cemented to them, but eventually over the years they got smashed as well. But yeah, the dentist, it's just getting registered with one now is a bit of a job. But that's, again, that is down to a lot of the dentists being fucked around by the NHS and said, I'm going to go private. And a lot of them were foreign dentists as well. And when it all kicks off, what do? They go home. Like the doctors and the surgeons that are deserting the country now. GPs. Yep, that's about the size of it, Brian. I mean, we know they would like to, and Farage has brought it up. They would like a paid health service, but then you get insurance involved and shit like that, and you got all the issue like America gets. There was one woman there needed some antibiotic, and this is in America, and the doctors said, well, basically it's I think it was $85 if you go through your insurance, which means your premium will go up. He said, or you can pay $30 cash for the same thing. So that just shows how much money the companies that are running the insurance make on it. It's a huge scam over there. As we know, there was even one CEO or boss of one of the companies was shot dead over it. But it's absolutely sad when they turn people away for treatment that can't afford it, There are free clinics, as they call them over there, but they're not up to the scratch of a proper hospital. But even the ambulances are a scam over there, aren't they? I mean, I looked at a post today. A bloke got knocked off his push bike by an ambulance in America, and they rushed him to hospital to get his wounds treated, and then charged him, I think it was $1,600 for picking him up and taking him to the hospital after they knocked him off. That's going to make a very interesting court case. There were results from it. He did get awarded quite a bit, but I haven't actually seen any major report on it. Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, you'll get treated in an NHS hospital, that they've rented off the NHS. And again, you got, everybody says, oh, it's not down to immigration, the flood in the NHS. No, but with more and more foreign people going in that can't speak English, as they keep bringing up, they got to pay for all these bloody interpreters. Sure, that wasn't a Laurel and Hardy film. But yeah, it's that's. I saw the report on it today, Steve. $1,600 to treat them, to get them to the hospital.
But the same sort of thing can happen over here if they think you're going to be claiming off insurance. They'll get a fee for the ambulance.
I got charged for an ambulance back in the 70s.
Yeah, and that it's still, if you're involved in an RTA and there's going to be
Yeah.
something going through the insurance, the ambulance put their bill in as well.
And it was the fucking police that called the ambulance for me. I mean, fair enough, I was unconscious in a fucking ditch hanging over the side of it in somebody's garden where I crashed my motorbike, pissed up.
You bloody knew you did. Stop moaning.
But yeah, I got charged something. I mean, it was something like about 38 quid for the ambulance attendants. I said, well, I didn't fucking call them. He said, no, the police did, so that means you got to pay. If you call them, you had to pay or something. And I'm like, oh, just pay it. Fuck off. Leave me alone. But yeah, that's the only time. And I have used the ambulance service a few times in the past, shall we say.
They didn't charge me when they came and got me.
No.
From here.
No.
Not after the accident.
They didn't charge me when I got taken in, you know. It just seemed strange at the time.
It's if it's an RTA, Don.
Yeah. But no, the NHS is in such a mess. As I say, you can't blame it all on the DEI. It's been going downhill for a long time. The underinvestment in hospitals and building new ones. I mean, the QE was a brand new one a few years back when I was in it, and they've had nothing but problems. Our local one can't expand. Well, I suppose it could with some of its patients because the land around it belongs to a cemetery. It belongs to the diocese. And that's why they call it No Hope or Last Hope Hospital instead of Good Hope. But I've always been treated fairly there, as I say, and not just because I worked there before. But
it's not that bad a hospital.
No, it's not, and it's on the doorstep. That's the biggest issue for me. I mean, it'd probably take me a couple of 3 hours, but I can walk back from it. It's less than a mile round the corner. Works Tesco's back. Yeah. Yeah, it's called Good Hope, Steve. But it got branded as No Hope and Last Hope. I mean, the thing is, they had some new units built. They haven't got room to expand, as I say. And the car parking is abysmal. And they built these new buildings, and some of them have been built on car parking areas. But luckily enough, being just round the corner, if it's me that's got an appointment, Heather drops me off and picks me up, and vice versa if she's got an appointment. There's a car park, public park round the corner, which is basically full of hospital staff cars because it's a free one. All the streets are usually parked on, even as far away as we are. Some of them park down there and walk in. But
I saw an advert again the other day on Facebook. Young lady starting work at the hospital. Has anybody got a drive?
Oh yeah, a lot of people rent their drives out during the day. That was going on when I was working there.
Yeah.
People rent their drives out for the hospital staff.
But it's safer than leaving it on the road.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them that have stopped doing it because now they've got to pay tax on that money they're getting in for that. Yeah, and that does go on, Brian. And people, it's like this is how scammers work. You know, they know if they send out God knows how many thousand texts, one person will take them up on it. They know there's always gullible people out there. And there is. Mainly the older ones, and that's literally because they don't understand. They don't understand how it all works now. Yeah, it's right. Well, I am going to keep going for another half an hour. even though my pain's in. So for that last half hour, no, don't do that.
Okay, I'll stop.
No, not you. Oh, where are we? Where are we? That one. We'll chuck that in there. If anybody's got any opinions, or doesn't have to match mine on anything we've talked about or I've talked about. Oh, pardon me again. But I suppose everybody's now thinking about Jamaica, man. After being hit by this typhoon, hurricane, as it's called there, isn't it? Typhoon's the other side of the world. Yes, it's been very destructive. Apparently, we promised millions of pounds in aid. Now that is what foreign aid should be for. Will they use it for the right thing when they get it? Well, they got no choice in certain areas, but the destruction from what I've seen on the videos and reports wasn't as bad as what they were predicting. I mean, literally, it was only the little wooden huts and the cheap housing that was blown about and fallen over. Yes, it was a nasty thing, and there was floods. But I've seen videos over the years of far worse ones than that there. But, like I say, if we didn't send the foreign aid to these countries that have got the corrupt governments that soak it up, or it doesn't get to the people where it's needed, then it shouldn't be going there. And then we could afford to help people when things like this happen. We've been paying millions to the Chinese to sort out their net zero, and they're the worst polluting country in the fucking world. Yeah, what's a UK boat gonna do in Jamaica? Come on. Good evening, Tony. Well, put it this way: there won't be so much of kick back, have a smoke, a cup of tea, and be mellow, man. I don't think there'll be a lot of that going on at the moment. Night weather to go and fly the kite. Shouldn't laugh at it, but.
Evening, Tony.
But it's the fact that they hype all this up. Just so, evening, Steve.
Hello, Roger. Hello, everyone. And hi there, everyone on the replay.
Push the net zero bollocks, as it were. Wait until the groundwater subsides. Yeah. But yeah, it's, everything now, every drop of fucking rain, every thunderstorm, it's got to do with global warming.
Ooh, don't bring up the global warming. It's a bit cold at the moment.
Well, that's what I said. Bring it on. The temperatures we normally get in this country. Let's have a bit of it.
It's like global warming.
But, I mean, they're totally ignoring the science and the facts that everybody knows that the biggest absorber of carbon dioxide is fucking plants.
For all the right reasons.
It produces the oxygen we need. Why are they trying to do away with it?
Jesus, even I know that.
I mean, think about it. Basically, all we are is carbon and water. They're running out of water and they want to do away with carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they want to block the sun out for good measure. Yeah.
Yep. You got
no
wind farms to clean energy that can't work when there's no wind or the wind's too high.
Yeah. No more meat. Oh shit. No more property.
People from island to island at our cost. Yeah. I mean, there is a big response going into that, Brian. which is fair enough. But why will they go back and build more little wooden huts and wait for the next one? You know, I mean, the conspiracies have already started. Oh, look what they did in LA. Look what they did in Hawaii. Have they done the same here? Because apparently somebody's got plans for this big modern metropolis in Jamaica.
Knock it down and start again.
Yeah.
Wasn't there that big thing about what they were calling the wall over in Saudi way? I think they had another bash at it recently, but it failed or something. It's like one huge long building. It's like a mile long and 200 meters up and 1 inch thick or something. Someone must know about it.
I haven't heard about that.
Oh yeah, out in the deserts.
Well, the Chinese built one across the desert, didn't they?
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
You know, think about the Great Wall of China. There's over a third of it you can't see. And it's made out of sticks, mud and stone out in the desert. So you can still see bits of it out there.
Yeah. Mind you, I can see sticks and mud out of the yard if I wanted one.
You check it out. There was actually 2 Great Walls of China. There was one that predated the one that we know of now. Check that out. We won. Hello.
Talk about your one-upmanship. Someone built the Great Wall of China. Someone said, "I can do better than that." Where do you start again?
I'm going to have a bigger
all the
one.
way around. You say this will be visible from space, not visible from Mars.
They'll run out of concrete for the city at this rate. Well, the Chinese haven't exactly got concrete anyway now, have they, Brian? They got that papier-mâché that they build things out of that keeps falling apart. Oh, they built a big brand new city. Nobody moved in it, and they're pulling it down because the buildings are just crumbling. 15-minute cities, partner. Yeah, that's where they're heading, Moo, and that is the directive from the WEF and all them.
But if you're unemployed and looking for work, you have to take a job that's within an hour travel each way. So can you have 15-minute cities if you've got to travel for an hour?
Well, that'll be an exception. It'll be an exception to the rule sort of thing. There'll be an allowance within your thing. Like, where are your papers? Why are you outside of your 15 minutes? I'm going to work. I'm going to work.
Which is basically the totalitarian regime from 1984.
Oh, yes.
You can only buy what we tell you can buy. You can only go to places we tell you to go.
And good luck paying for things when 2 and 2 is 5. How are you going to work your change out? Oh, it'll all be digital. It'll all be done.
Well, there won't be so many holes in pockets if we ain't got any change.
Yeah.
Chinese, if a junction collapses, they fill it with concrete, mask over the deaths. They do that with everything over there, Brian. And there's, what's it called? There's a channel I drop in now and again. China Insight, I think it's called. And they report on what they're doing over there. Like, the false fields, false roads, false buildings, painting fields green. That is not as daft as it sounds, actually, because if it is going to be just grass, they do use a dye because they spray the seed on now. Rather than sowing the seed and scattering it, it's tipped into big water containers. This green dye is put in it because it's also a fertilizer, and they can see where they've spread it.
Yeah.
Through compressed air, through big hoses.
You make a great argument. You either thought of working for the CCP?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. That was a funny video, that one we won. Like putting the sticks out in the field with little stones and white bits on top of them. So it looked like flowers were growing. Unrolling matting down mountains and spraying them so they looked like the hills were fertile.
There was a real evidence of that. People doing that. I think it was in Scotland or Ireland, where you got paid for how many sheep you had. So they put up some false sheep, and they were, photographed in the air.
But the Chinese, we know they do it for deception, for the satellites and what have you. I mean, I've been hearing for the past year that the Six Gorges Dam is going to collapse. Oh, it's bowing, it's cracking, it's this, that, and the other, but it's still there. But yeah, and this is what I say about it was Brian. It just shows that the falseness that the Chinese Three Gorges is. I don't know how many there are. But the whole Chinese economy is basically based on deception. Because everything they sell virtually is a copy of something else cheaply made. They're portraying their country as something that it isn't.
They invented the abacus and then they didn't create a single thing from then on.
It's the same. And any government does it, but to a certain level, China takes it to the extremes. But it's always smoke and mirrors and camouflage from all governments.
Yeah.
From China, you get a patent within 3 months. But yeah, a lot of the factories were burnt down, weren't they, for insurance and that, because of they weren't selling as much.
Mm.
But if you watch the videos of their mail service, the sorters, fucking mountains of it. All little Timu jiffy bags and silver plastic bags. And
that's the definition of the machine.
All packed into very large planes in boxes.
Yeah, because it gets around the freight. Is an abacus these days identifying as an abacus? Well, if you're talking about Diane Abacus.
Well, I never thought to ask. My calculator might identify as an abacus.
Well, apparently you can identify as what you want. I've identified since I was about 15 years old as an arsehole, but most people have took me for my word.
I've remained a man of my word.
Even she's not arguing.
I said I'm an arsehole, and I never.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a disaster today. We went up to Tesco's yesterday evening. She needed some
disaster.
And I needed to get some cash. And we come out, fucking car wouldn't start. The batteries died. Luckily enough, where we were parked, it's a bit of a slope, so it wasn't too much of a job to bump start it.
Yeah.
But I've had it home. I've had the battery on charge all day, but it's been on there since we own the car, and we don't know how old it is. So
it's just knackered, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to order one from the local supplier, but he only delivers to businesses, to garages,
right?
Car spares. But a mate of ours has got an account there because he's got a small car repair business, and so she'll order it and pay for it. And he said he'll whiz over there tomorrow after work and go and pick it up for us. So, because we're stuck in the motor now, see. Yeah. We can't go shopping or anything.
Yeah.
Can't even get to doctor's appointments.
Right. Yeah.
So
have to get a taxi or walk.
Yeah.
Go to the corner shop.
Everything out there is the same, Brian. Everything out there is the same. Yeah, I'd be a millionaire if I could manipulate a couple of dots. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain. We got a spare car out there as well, but because all the family have got a car more or less apiece now, the cost of it, I don't keep it MOT'd or insured out there. It's sawned and stood up. So
Okay.
to even get that one up and running, I mean, that one needs a new battery now as well. It's been stood for a year. So the spare car isn't even usable. The daughter's off in fucking Ibiza, or where has she gone? Tenerife. So her car's not available.
Danny's using that, and then Danny's going to use the one that's on our drive when we get it MOT'd.
Hey, you can get it MOT. I ain't paying for it to get MOT'd for you to use.
It didn't say you've got to.
Look that.
Jeez, Louis.
It probably only need battery and maybe a couple of bulbs. It was good condition when it was stood up. So
yeah, hopefully it's just a battery then.
You can Shenzhen, you can get an iPhone for about £100. Yeah.
No, make your own iPhone.
That's why I say that the Chinese economy is based on copies. You know, their jets, their aircraft, their navy, everything, space rockets, all based on somebody else's designs.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to copy Musk now. They've got with some of their space shots, they're developing a catching arm to try and land a booster like Elon does. But so yeah, Brian. It's like when you go to Italy, Venice, isn't it? Don't buy the plastic gondolas. They're made in Taiwan. Oh, pardon me. Oh. That gives my head a headache when I do that.
What are you doing?
Yeah, of course, a copy is a lot less, Brian. A lot less. I think the way the world's going at the moment, they'd be better off making dumb phones, as they call them. Yeah, well, that Jag campaign was shot right down on it, Loafer. I mean, I'd never seen anything so ridiculous in my life for a car.
Yeah. It's hardly James Bond, is it?
I mean, you know, because we got the Jag factory local, is quite local as well. But I've only been past it once, and that was when I blew an Audi up. Had to pull into their gateway with clouds of white smoke coming out. This is a diesel turbo, and the turbo collapsed.
That is the way to turn up to a place, though, isn't it?
Well, I didn't even notice because I was just driving slow. And I looked in the mirror. I thought, that's a bit fucking foggy behind. And the whole dual carriageway was just full of white, thick smoke. Nobody could see a fucking thing.
Some people.
To be served. Yeah, they it's like doctors, Brian. They can cancel when they want, and a lot of it, cancelling and remaking appointments, is to do with keeping the numbers down on the waiting lists, and that we've seen that in hospitals. They shuffle people around, cancel an appointment. They'll give you one after a few days when they put the numbers together to put in the reports. And even like when you're you're waiting in an ambulance outside A&E, there's a backlog in A&E. You're sat in an ambulance for 4 hours out in the car park waiting to get admitted. Well, why you're waiting in that ambulance, you're actually not on them waiting lists that they tell you how many are waiting at A&E to be treated. They only count the ones that are already booked in. Yeah, no worries, Brian. I'm going to knock it on the head myself in a minute. My back is bloody killing me. And it does get better when I lay down. So I shall probably have a quick bit of supper and then go off up and lay on the bed and watch telly up there where I can be comfortable.
And you know where the channels are?
Yeah, and I know where the channels are on that fucker. Honestly, if anybody's buying a new TV, look it to see what it runs on. I mean, don't get me wrong, that Freely is pretty good. We've got all the channels and more that we had on Freeview, but it is such a ball ache, the fact that their listings don't match up with the numbers on any other channel like Freeview. You know,
11 is now 23.
yeah.
19 and 20 is still 19 and 20.
Oh, we do, Brian. It's a national pastime, isn't it? The Brits moaning.
64, couldn't tell you.
House.
But Mythbusters is 1,161.
Of course it is.
And then there's another section in the 5,000.
I went on to I'll put this out just before we go. I went on to one of the forums because other people were moaning about the same thing. You know, I just went in there and like, how the fuck do you tune this thing in? The numbers ain't right. And they were saying, well, what it does, you still plug the aerial into it. But what it does, it takes signals from both and combines it into their own menu somehow. I don't know how they bloody do it. But my only worry is that if the internet goes down, because obviously that's a Wi-Fi based telly, we probably won't get any channels. Whereas a normal Freeview one working through the aerial will.
We'll just have to spend the day upstairs.
What are they called in sense and sense?
High sense.
High sense. I mean, with the picture and the sound, but there's just too much there to play with on the buttons, and none of the buttons are in the same fucking place on the remote either.
But what I didn't realise was when it says it has freely and this and that and the other, it meant it does not have Freeview.
Yeah. You can get rid of freely on it and download an app to get Freeview, but then you're still running off the internet, not through the aerial. So it's a weird thing. But anyway, guys, like I say, I am in a bit of pain here today. I do apologise. No videos at the moment this week. I have been making notes, obviously, but I just couldn't put it together to do one. It's with the headaches and that, you just can't work it all out, basically. But anyway, I know it's a bit short, but thank you for joining us tonight. No matter what happens with the videos and that, I'll always do the little live. It's just a shame I can't do them longer now. But thank you, everybody, for dropping in tonight. Thank you, Steve, for dropping in for a short time on the panel. Sorry about that, buddy. But when you're buying your second-hand toilet paper. But yeah, that's it. So I will say good night to everybody there, the lurkers in the background. And as always, it's good night from me.
And good night from me.
And as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay free, and wicked, as Mrs. W likes to say. Take it easy, guys. Look after yourselves and stay safe out there.
See you next week.
Nice, everyone.
See you, mate.